Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button, and if you have any opinions at all you would like to share, leave them down in the comment section. Land of Talk, Indistinct Conversations. Land of Talk is a Canadian indie rock band formed in 2006. The creative idea of Elizabeth Powell, the band's only consistent member to date, they have garnered a decent amount of critical acclaim, especially with this latest record here, their fourth, Indistinct Conversations. This review is my first exposure to the band, yet again me trying to open up to some new things, indie rock being one of those genres that kinda gets a little bit tedious for me at times. But hearing so much praise thrown at this album just made me ravenous to find out what was behind all the hype. So, what did I find on Indistinct Conversations? Let's find out as I review this album, track by track. We'll start off with the singles, with there actually being 5 of them. The first one being Weight of That Weekend, which opens up with this light, gentle, ethereal guitar picking and the standard, yet effective drum work. Elizabeth's vocals definitely sound like they'd be a lot more suited towards ballad material, so they do feel a little bit out of place here, but the track as a whole is pretty soothing thanks to said vocals. They provide a mellow, nearly angelic quality, especially in the latter moments where the instrumental blossoms, which is still feathery and uplifting, telling this reflective story about being the victim of sexual abuse from men of higher standing. Not a bad first impression at all, great song. The second single, Compelled, is mostly a calmer, down-tempo cut, really harnessing that indie rock label I mentioned earlier. These types of tracks have usually done very little for me, but this one gripped me thanks to Elizabeth's wonderful songwriting and heart-wrenching performance, singing the line, "Don't say I don't feel the attraction, all I feel is the attraction," in a very pensive, nearly hopeless vocal tone. It's almost tough to listen to. Lyrically, it really is just about feeling this urge, compelled to steal from someone just because of how much you care. Good song. The third song and the album opener, Diaphanous, is a little bit of a slower opener, nothing too special. This one is pretty spacious overall and is almost as slow a tempo as Compelled, with these haunting ambient background effects, slogging drum work, and the mostly muted guitar playing. Elizabeth's vocals are yet again the star of the show here. They're very composed, even when the instrumental climaxes with the much tougher instrumentation. Lyrically, it's pretty dramatic and personal, dealing with inner demons and conflict. It's a little bit of a slow track for me musically, but still not bad. The fourth single, Footnotes, is an immediate musical change from the previous 3 singles, opening up with the slightly raucous guitar picking and the more rock-driven drum pounding. It calms down rather swiftly, losing the harsher guitar, substituting it for a gentler acoustic one for the verses. Elizabeth vocally blends in pretty effectively with the grungier instrumental, feeling pretty similar to Wait on That Weekend, where they don't mesh perfectly, but it's still solid. Lyrically, it's this concept portraying this idea about being the devoted partner in a relationship you deserve. Fantastic song, one of the best here. And the fifth and final single, Now You Want to Live in the Light, is easily the most minimalistic cut on the entire record, really just being Elizabeth's vocals paired alongside some minute guitar plucking for the majority of the tune. But my god, the vocal work here is stellar. It almost feels like a personal connection is being established between these vocals and the listener as they display a tender-hearted nature singing about this romantic reflection, the light fading sometime in the future, so why get involved with everything now? As much as I want to fall in love with this so much, I think it needs a little bit more than what's given sonically, so meh. Now for the rest of the tracks. Look to You parentheses intro is a short 1 minute 23 second introduction to the following track. There really isn't too much to say about it aside from the denser guitar playing, Elizabeth's typically soft vocals, and the fact that it transitions into said song pretty well. Never understood the point of these intro tracks though, like just why not make it into a full song? Look to You features this wonderful bass line, and anyone who's been on my channel for any amount of time knows that I am a sucker for a killer bass groove. And beside a heavy, almost grungy drum rhythm, this groove was just made for me. Elizabeth's voice also leans into a bit of a heavier side, especially during the verses. The choruses have a bit of a lighter tone with the overwhelming synth work drowning out the bass for the most part, and the drums picking up a bit more of a casual rhythm. This is probably my favorite track here. Great song, it gets my recommendation. Love in Two Stages is absolutely the most somber and bleak track musically on the record. The humming ambience, the otherworldly guitar playing, and the deep, slow pounds of the drum all come together into a nearly shadowy, dusky song, especially when the bass line kicks in for the second verse. Elizabeth's vocals are still great, but they are the black sheep here though, mainly when she hits that falsetto on the verses. They clash pretty obviously, But aside from that, they are pretty solid across the board. And so is this track. Definitely a heavy vibe if you're in the right mindset. A/B Futures pumps a little bit more life into this record with the chugging, more upbeat instrumentation. The drum work holds faster tempo than any of the other previous tracks, and the guitar feels a lot more lively as well with the louder chords. It all becomes a little bit overbearing by the end, but thankfully that doesn't last for too long, and Elizabeth's vocals amp up a little bit as well. They don't clash as much as the more upbeat songs, which is nice. Lyrically, it seems to be about an addictive relationship, really getting to know this person. Another great tune here. Festivals goes right back to slowing things down, essentially becoming the ballad of this album, and it's alright. Much like Now You Want to Live in the Light, it's very intimate, minute, and minimal in its instrumentation, just some sublime guitar playing and Elizabeth's angelic vocal passages gracing the tune. I also don't really care for the 30-second long haunting ambient outro. Nothing's even said there, so it just kind of seems like padding. Lyrically though, what I can muster up is that it's about the power of words, how much it can affect a person, good or bad. This is another one that's a little bit too slow in my eyes, but still okay. And finally, the closer and the title track, Indistinct Conversations, definitely lives up to the title. It's not actually a track, it's more like an outro with all these vocal snippets being played over a dreary instrumental. I suppose you could call them Indistinct Conversations. Overall, not a bad first introduction to the band. Some solid tunes, wonderful lyrical ability from Elizabeth, and while indie rock still isn't my genre that I can get into easy, and that was definitely still a factor here, some of the slower moments I didn't really care for all that much, but I still had an overall positive experience throughout this record. I'm feeling a 6.5 out of 10 on this album. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.